All right. Welcome everyone to Bear Valley Electric's annual reliability public presentation for the calendar year of 2024. So a quick agenda of what we're going to be discussing here today. We're just going to do an overview of Bear Valley Electric. We're going to go through what electric utility reliability is, what the requirements and definitions are. We're going to go over Bear Valley Electric's reliability indices. We're going to go over Bear Valley's 2024 reliability results, and we'll go into any questions if there are any at the end. So a little service area overview. Bear Valley Electric is located in the area of Big Bear Lake and Big Bear City. It's about 32 square miles of mountainous terrain, all approximately about 7,000 feet in the San Bernardino Mountains. The entire service territory is located above 3,000 feet in elevation. So this makes it so that our construction standards are held to a higher standard and they're a little more resilient. The entire service area is located within the high fire threat district tier 2 and tier 3, mostly in tier 2. Then some key jurisdictions are the County of San Bernardino, City of Big Bear Lake, the Forest Service, and Caltrans. We have currently approximately 24,800 customers, majority of which are residential. Our system has two different voltages. We have a sub-transmission, which is a 34,500 volts, and which is all covered conductor, and about a mile of it is underground. And then we have our distribution voltage, which is a 4 kV, currently conducting work to cover it. We're approximately 140 miles left of bare conductor left in our system. And the goal is to remove all bare conductors from the system. Our supply lines are from Edison, and we get approximately 39 megawatt total. We do have a small power plant here at the office, which produces about 8.4 megawatts total. And our service area renewable generation is about 6.16 megawatts. And our peak load is during the winter and the evenings, mostly from the ski resorts and increase in population during those months. So we get all of our most of our power from Edison, and they come up through three different lines through our valley. We have two that come up from the Lucerne area, and then one that comes up from the south over behind Snow Summit. And so our system is located entirely within the area under control of the California Independent Operator System, and BVS procures power via a mix of power purchase agreements. So what is reliability? So reliability is safety, and reliability is electric utilities' number one job. Right now, cyber threats and grid technology is a challenge that we are facing more than ever. Us at Bear Valley has a strong safety and reliability record, and electric service reliability means the safe continuity of electric service experienced by retail customers. So our reliability reporting in California, electric utilities evaluate reliability performance using four basic industry reliability indices calculated over a period of one calendar year, which we're about to go into. So this is mandated by the California Public Utility Commission, and we have to update it every year. And this is through the standard of IEEE 1366. And every year in July, each utility publishes these reports, and you can find them on CPUC's website, and you can go through each utilities reports. So measuring reliability. So we have to consider a few things. We have to consider the number of service interruptions, number of outages, the type of service interruptions, whether they're momentary or sustained, number of customers affected, the length of these interruptions, the average restoration time, and then whether they were unplanned or planned outages. And then we also do consider something called a major event day. These are major storms, earthquake, wildfire, and these are kind of considered outliers that may skew the data. So we have a data set that removes these major event days. So some definitions. So an interruption is a single operation of interrupting device, switch, breaker, fuse, etc. that results in a voltage of 0. So a momentary interruption is an outage lasting 5 minutes or less. A sustained interruption is an outage lasting longer than 5 minutes. And then a major event day, which we just kind of talked about, is a day which the daily system outage exceeds a statistically derived threshold value, which only occurs from major storms, earthquakes, or other significant external events resulting in major outages. So the first indice we're going to go over is SAIDI, which is our System Average Interruption Duration Index. This is the amount of time an average customer is without power in a year due to sustained interruptions. So this is measured in minutes. So think of it as the average amount of time each customer in minutes is out for a course of a year. And we get this by dividing the sum of all sustained customer interruption durations divided by the total number of customers served. The next one is SAIFI. So System Average Interruption Frequency Index is the number of times an average customer was without power in a year due to service interruptions lasting more than 5 minutes. So this is measured in interruptions per customer over the course of the year. So this is equal to the sum of total quantity of sustained customer interruptions divided by the total number of customers served. Next one is MAIFI, which is very similar to the last one, but this is for momentary outages. So this is the Momentary Average Interruption Frequency Index, and this is the number of times an average customer was without power in a year due to service interruptions lasting less than 5 minutes. And this is again measured in interruptions per customer over the course of a year. And this is the sum of total quantity of momentary customer interruptions divided by the number of customers served. And then the last one is Customer Average Interruption Duration Index, represents the average outage duration that any given customer would experience. So this is pretty much the average restoration time for outages throughout the year. And this is also measured in units of minutes over the course of a year. And this is calculated by dividing SAIDI by SAIFI. So here's a quick overview of the last 10 years of unplanned outages using those metrics. So this is MED excluded, so major event days excluded. So we take all the really large outages that may skew the data and we take those out of this data set. So if you look in 2024, we were quite a bit lower than what we have been averaging the last 2 years before that. And so 64 minutes is the average outage time per year that each customer incurred. SAIFI is the, on average, how many outages or service interruptions each customer had per year, so 0.8. So we're averaging less than 1 outage per customer a year. And then CAIDI is the average restoration time there on the right, which is 84. So it was a little higher for the restoration time throughout the year, but the amount of minutes throughout the year is actually lower. So it's kind of we want them all to be lower, obviously, but the decrease in SAIDI and SAIFI is a very good thing. So this next one is the same table, but with major event days included. So 101, as you see there for SAIDI in 2024, is much lower than, say, in 2022 and in 2023. And pretty much the last 5 or 6 years, it's much, much lower. So that's a good thing. And then SAIFI is average about one service interruption per customer per year. And then the CAIDI is the average restoration time, including these large outages. So it is going to be a little bit higher because usually there's multiple outages at once. So that's why the CAIDI is usually higher in the major event days included. All right, so how do we compare to the other utilities? We compare very well. We are much lower than almost all of the utilities in the state. The only one that kind of comes close to us would be SDG&E down in San Diego, who has a 71 minutes for major event days excluded, and we're at about 64. So that's good. We're very low on the SAIDI and SAIFI numbers. And then if you look at the MED included, major event days included, we're also much lower than all of the other utilities. So we've definitely improved our reliability in the last couple of years, thanks to a lot of grid hardening and vegetation management, and the numbers are really showing that and reflecting that. So here's a snippet of the top 10 largest outages from 2024. So the largest one was actually a loss of supply from Southern California Edison. And that was quite a large event. If you see there, the event SAIDI was 149 minutes. So on average, that's how many minutes per customer this outage caused. So that is a large number. If you look at the second largest outage, is only 33. So if you just look at the difference between those two, it's quite significant. So the second one was a car hit pole. And then the next two were during winter storms in February of last year, and that's from contact from vegetation. And then we have a conductor failure, which was also during that storm. So as you can see on 2.6, along with the next one also was during that same storm on February 6th of 2024. And then there's a couple of equipment failures and then an unknown as well. So those are our top 10 outages that were incurred last year. Then the next slide is going to be our worst performing circuit. So the worst performing circuit last year, we considered it the Baldwin circuit, which is one of our large sub-transmission circuits. Now, we didn't have any outages on this line last year. However, we use a 3-year period for determining the worst performing circuit. So the last 3 years, this has had the worst reliability metrics. So at least we're showing improvement. We didn't have any outages last year, so we have been using this data to help develop measures to improve circuit reliability, so grid hardening, vegetation management, things of that nature, and it's obviously showing that it is improving. So all of a report on your circuit is available. Customers have the opportunity to request a circuit level reliability report for their homes or business. You have to contact BVES at the phone number here or email us at customerservice@bvsinc.com. And BVS will mail a report to you to the address on file. So you are able to get that access. And that is the 2024 reliability presentation. Thank you very much.